You're searching for answers. You're searching for help. You're searching for any possible solution. What if you needed to live with this pain for the rest of your life? What if you didn't ever actually find a therapy that could help, whether it's a medicine, another surgery, or if it's mental stress or emotional distress and grieving? What if you actually had to live with it as it is for the rest of your life? What would you do? The reason I ask is because that's what I've been asking myself for the past several years. And I'll share with you in this second part of a series to share with you the different things that I've identified that I need to do and that I can do to live with the pain and all that comes with it for the rest of my life. Welcome. Hi, I'm Rick Cram. I'm a resilience coach. I developed Plan to Be Your Best as you navigate pain. This is Plan to Be Your Best live on this Friday, the 25th of July, 2025. And if you're with me now, I'm glad you're here. If you're watching the recording, I hope you'll get some not only goodness out of this, but some encouragement, as well as perhaps looking at some of the things that I'll be sharing with you more in my list of what I need to do to live with the pain that I have for the rest of my life, should I never find relief. Just if we're connecting for the first time, let me just share with you that in surgery number 7 in 2019, it was the 7th surgery on my left knee. A partial revision of a total knee replacement has left my knee in a state of trauma. For me, surgery is no longer an option. That's one way to put it. And I'm looking at a variety of different therapies. I've tried just about everything under the sun that I can think of in these past 5+ years, but I'm never giving up hope. And in fact, my hope has been stronger in recent weeks and months. Since this spring, I identified what I need to do to be resilient with this and to thrive with this in my own unique way if I ever never get relief. As you may have heard me share with you, I experience significant, acute, sudden blasts of pain, generally dozens of times a day, over 20 different pain sensations. Last night, which is actually a rare night, I'm not usually experiencing constant pain, but last night I did for about an hour or so. And it'll be interesting to see how my energy stays with us today in this recording, because I'm going to try to get through in the course of the next 20 minutes or so to share with you both a recap of what I shared in my previous video, as well as an additional set of strengths, strategies, and tactics that I've identified to live with this pain for the rest of my life. Just to recap from the first, this will be a series of probably now 4 videos, because I continue to work with the list and think through how much can I share in any individual video that's going to make it both a manageable amount of content for me to share and a manageable amount for you to take in, because it's a lot. In the first 3 things that I identified from the previous video, the first 3 things that I know I need to do that are part of my resilience toolkit is to express and tell my story more. I realized that I need to talk more about it. I need to write more about it. I do an awful lot of thinking about it, to be sure, but it's not enough to just think it through. I need to express it in as many different ways as I can. It's a wonderful, truly wonderful way to process it effectively. The second thing I need to do is love more. And for me, that looks like I need to love myself more. I need to care for myself, because I can care for myself as only I can. And only you can care for yourself as only you can. I believe this is one of the most powerful and potent ways of we can find our own unique way of resilience and anchoring in that. Let me put it to you this way. caring for myself as only I can is part of my own unique resilience. Caring for yourself as only you can is part of your unique resilience. And it's probably, I would say, the foundation of your resilience. Another thing on the list is that I need to grieve it more. Through the course of the first 3 surgeries in my late teens and when I was 20, then again through my late 30s and when I had surgeries 4, 5, and 6, I didn't grieve them enough. I didn't grieve not just the surgeries. Indeed, it's not just the pain, but it's the loss. When I had the total knee replacement at the age of 40, I was grieving the things I would no longer be able to do, things that I loved, things like being able to play tennis and run or go inline skating. After the knee replacement, I was able to get back to walking, and I could swim and I could ride a bike. Since the surgery number 7 in 2019, virtually everything is a challenge, and I can barely walk. I can physically walk, but let me just say it's no fun. And I grieve the loss of comfort, the loss of security and trust in even periods of comfort, whether they may last for an hour or two, or even a number of minutes. I've lost the ability to trust that comfort. And the more I understand and am honest about all the different experiences I have with this condition of pain, the more I'm able to see what I need to grieve. And when I say that, I mean to do good grief. It's productive, healthy, caring for what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And through that caring, I grow stronger. When you take a look at the things that you grieve, and if I may take this chance to say, let's use the 3 steps of resilience. Tune into what your feelings are, tune into what your losses are, tune into the way that you're experiencing it, what your perspectives are towards it, what meaning you give to those things that you find painful, what meaning you give to what you've lost so far. And I found that that's a very healthy step to take, because then when we go into the second of the 3 steps of resilience, we can plan. And by planning, I mean take time to think, what can I do about this? What would be healthy for me? What would be the best for me? What would be the best for those that are close to me? If I understand that I need to grieve something specific, who might partner with me to do that? And then through the course of that plan step, make a list of what you can do, choose one, and then move into the 3rd step. Take action on it. Do it, care for it, do the grieving, do it with good grieving. You'll find it productive. You'll find it hard, to be sure, but it's so healthy. And that's where the growth comes. This is very much a journey of not just pain, not just resilience, but a journey of wildly intentional thinking. It's a very heady experience for me, as I might have shared with you before. And it's also, since it's so heady, it's a matter of taking a look at, honestly, to think through, just as when the pain strikes, I have no choice. It completely captures the attention of every thought that I have. But it's through thinking that I can win it back. It's through thinking that I can process and care for what needs to be cared for. It's through thinking that I can find how to be resilient. And it's through thinking that I can grow through it all. So this very heady experience, on one hand, is fairly exhausting, but there's real goodness that comes from it. And I would say perhaps the most significant product from all that thinking and even the grieving is fresh sources of energy for my next moment of resilience, my next day of resilience. So again, to identify and validate what it is that we need to think through, feel through, grieve it, and then also love more. And again, going back to that, loving myself more, loving others more, and loving God more. Lastly, and I'm not sure if I really shared this in the previous video, there's such a thing as the term, and I'm sure you're familiar with it, to stay on top of the pain. When you've got even an injury or a headache that might be lasting a long time, if you've ever heard the phrase, perhaps by your doctor or a nurse, they say, stay on top of the pain, take the medicine right on time, or maybe just a little bit ahead of time. The same is true for how we approach resilience. A lot of what we do through the course of using the 3 steps of resilience, a lot of what we do in the course of that tuning in step, that plan step, and very much in that be your best step, is a matter of staying on top of not just the pain, but staying on top of your resilience, staying ahead of it for this moment, but also for the future resilience that you're going to use. So let me now share with you a few more things that I've identified that I know work for me. And perhaps one of these or a few of these might also work for you if you're dealing with. I looked at my doctor's notes from my visit just the other week, and a different term was used. Looking at the doctor's notes, I saw a term regarding my pain and my condition that I hadn't seen before. Intractable. That caught my eye, and it meant difficult to manage. And it is all of that, to be sure. I must admit, I didn't particularly care for seeing that word. It's kind of haunting me in a way. So one of the things I'm thinking about is how to let go of that. It doesn't serve me any good to think about a label for the pain. I am so intentional that I try not to use labels to describe any aspect of the pain. I will use labels to describe my resilience, such as how strong it is, how deliberate I am, how purposeful I am. So one of the things that comes to the next set of ways that I'm going to be able to be resilient through and thrive through this pain, if I have to live with it for the rest of my life, is found in my purpose. Let me ask you, do you know your purpose? Have you ever had a time in life when you identified what your purpose was? Perhaps it was for a particular amount of time. Maybe it's for a season. Maybe it's for your entire life. But the energy that comes from simply identifying your purpose, what are your unique strengths that you can give in gifts to others? Identifying my purpose through creating and sharing Plan to Be Your Best as you navigate pain, caring for others, equipping others is one of the foundational aspects of my pain management plan, but also my resilience plan. As long as I can find ways such as this to equip you and encourage you to be your best with whatever challenges you're experiencing, there is so much energy and thriving, even with the pain that comes from that. So I am fully committed. And in fact, there's a question right there for us. This is from the pages of Plan to Be Your Best. What is your commitment? I believe that we need to take a look at what we're experiencing, the ways that we can be resilient, the ways that we can thrive, and be 100% committed to not only doing them, following through, but celebrating them, and never stop pursuing, never stop staying curious to see what more things, more thoughts, feelings, and actions you might add to your resilience toolkit. That 100% commitment, it's like that thought that I share every time we get together, that the level of pain needs to be matched by the level of intentionality. There needs to be a 100% commitment for that intentionality. In fact, I'm going to rephrase that. When you have a 100% commitment to your intentionality, resilience flows more, thriving flows more. That 100% commitment is essential, and I found so beneficial to the way I'm navigating years of daily intractable pain. Having a support system. Actually, I'll share one more thought regarding purpose. It's not just identifying the purpose that matters, but it's carrying it out, it's living it out, pouring life and breath into the purpose as often as possible, because there's so much energy that comes from that energy for my resilience. When you find your purpose and when you act on it, however often that might be, you'll find that it's not only going to provide you with more energy for your resilience, it's going to be fuel for your having that 100% commitment to how you're navigating whatever is so painful. The idea of having a support system is key. I may have shared with you the story of how about a month before I had the total knee replacement, I went to the hospital for an information session. And there was about 20 people sitting around this boardroom table at the hospital. And at the head of the table is a nurse and a physical therapist who spend the hour talking about what to expect every step of the way, from arriving at the hospital through the surgery, recovery room, your stay at the hospital. At the time, it was 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 nights. And then the physical therapist talked about the importance of physical therapy. And this physical therapist ended the meeting with a question. So how many of you play tennis? And of the 20 people sitting around the room, maybe 7 or 8 raised their hands. And then she asked, so how many of you plan to go back to playing tennis after your total knee replacement? Several people raised their hand, and she didn't miss a beat. She right away said, well, for those of you who are stupid enough to go back to playing tennis, you have to only play doubles and add 2 phrases to your vocabulary. One is nice serve. The other is that's yours. The moral of the story is don't go it alone. When you have a challenge such as the pain that you're experiencing, team up with others, team up with at least one other person, and think in terms of what new phrases, what new thoughts, new perspectives can be worth adding to your vocabulary of life, your vocabulary of resilience. The support system, whether it's one other person or several people, plays such an important role in my being able to navigate the pain and all that comes with it for me. Do you have a support system? Do you have people who know how to be with you when you're in pain, who know how to use active listening, who know how to express, whether it's sympathy or, even more importantly, the empathy? I'm very fortunate to have friends and family who are there for me, and I don't know how I would go through this without them. Indeed, that's part of what's going to help me be resilient and thrive, if I need to, with this for the rest of my life. One of the things that's so common when we experience pain is to retract. We can isolate ourselves. We can pull back from other people. We can pull back from activities. We can even find ourselves pulling back from life. And in the course of observing that, take a look at to what extent have you done that? I've found in the course of my doing that to some extent, I wanted to counter that with being more active. And for me, it means getting to know more people, more online groups. The people I've connected with over the past year in particular, when in this year and a half now, where it's been very difficult for me to get out, the price is just so high. I've actually increased the number of networking groups that I'm a part of and being more active on social media. And I have found that between the greater level of social activity, the new people that I'm meeting or people I'm reconnecting with that I haven't seen in decades, that it adds so much, again, energy for being resilient. There's encouragement that comes from that. And that encouragement is so key to our being able to navigate pain. One more thing that I'll share, and that is this. Tied to that, if you're feeling and even actively isolating yourself, and staying in more, consider the different ways, as I'm doing now as well. How can we get out there more? For me, to get out more, to leave my condo, is an experience of more pain. And so there's a price to pay for getting out. And yet I know mentally and emotionally, I need to get out more. So I'm pursuing, looking with curiosity, ways that I can do that. I'm not sure what that quite looks like just yet, but I know that I need to do that and somehow find a balance. So it's simply healthier. The idea of right there, in effect, if any of us are to endure and over a long period of time, find ways of strengthening our resilience and finding ways to thrive, we do well to constantly think in terms of and seek out ways, new things that we can do in the balance of it all to be as healthy as possible. I'll conclude here. There are probably going to be two more in this series of things that I'll share with you of what it takes to live with this pain for the years and hopefully decades ahead. I want to thank you so much. If you're watching the recording of this, I hope you'll subscribe and look for more sources of ways to be resilient for whatever it is you're going through. You'll find at rickcram.com a lot of different videos as well as on YouTube. And you'll find resources such as a worksheet for the 3 steps of resilience. It's a free download. It's on the homepage of rickcram.com. You might also consider joining me at Cadre. It's a mental health platform where I'm a contributor. I go live there every Tuesday with your you can use it for free. Go to cadre.io, that's cadre.io. Find out more about it, download the app, and then use Rick Cram, all uppercase, RICKCRAM, to use it for free through August 15th. You'll find a wonderful community, numerous contributors, and like myself, they're on a mission to bring positivity to you, to bring encouragement to you, to bring community to you, especially when you need it most. I want to thank you so much. If you've got any questions, let me know. Any comments that you share with me, I reply to every one of them. You might find that if there's a certain question or topic that you want me to touch on, I will either write about it or do a video about it. Most of all, as I often do, I want to encourage you to pursue that unique resilience, that resilience that's only yours. That's the best resilience for you. Your best is greater than the pain. Take good care.